Hello everyone, I'm Elise as Another Truth here on YouTube. I hope you're doing well and you're taking exceptional care of yourselves. I hope your week will be an enjoyable and pleasant one. I do want to stress that while I will talk about Katie Joy in this video, I will also bring up some personal things and my concerns about the community in general. This might bring triggering topics such as abuse, mental health, emotional dysregulation, politics to an extent, disagreements, arguments, privilege, social inequity, racial inequity, class inequity, and so on. Please prioritize your emotional well-being and mental health before listening to anything that I have to say. There are resources in the description box you can refer to if you need to speak to someone. Everything I say here is based on my opinions, and those opinions are based on my perspectives and understanding of what's going on. I do encourage you to do your own research, form your own conclusions, and make wise decisions with the information that you have found. Do not go after anybody I talk about in this video. Do not harass them using law enforcement, social services agencies. Just do not harass them at all, because it doesn't only affect them, but it affects the people who surround them. So, in the ever-evolving landscape of social media, as we know, Katie Joy, a YouTuber known for her commentary on reality television, her superficial opinions about social issues, and her terrible personal conduct within the online community, is well known. As I get into the complexities of her actions and their repercussions, it becomes important to understand the underlying themes of manipulation, privilege, and community resilience. Now, my video just aims to provide somewhat of an analysis of the controversies surrounding Katie Joy, emphasizing the critical importance of self-awareness, accountability, in online interactions. If I do not live up to these expectations, I promise that I will. So, I want to go back and revisit the conversation about the closure of the WOACB subreddit, the original one. The original subreddit, WOACB, was a vibrant community where users engaged in discussions about Katie Joy's content, critiquing her actions, and sharing their own experiences. This subreddit functioned not only as a space for critique, but also as a support network for individuals affected by her behavior. Its rather unexpected closure, which followed a period of inactivity, sparked a lot of concern among its members. Now, the timing and circumstances surrounding this eventual ban raised suspicions regarding Katie Joy's involvement. Personally, I think Katie Joy orchestrated it, or she got word about how to get around the system to do it. Many users speculated that Katie Joy leveraged Reddit's loose moderation protocols to orchestrate the subreddit's demise and eventually getting it banned. This incident highlights a broader issue, the power dynamics at play within online platforms, where an individual can manipulate the system to silence dissented voices. Her intention of taking over this platform was to destroy any criticism said against her and anything that could possibly add to her mounting legal troubles. The closure of the WOACB subreddit illustrates the fragility of online communities that depend on open dialogue and transparency. which Katie Joy does not favor unless she is the one to have that available resource. Following the closure of the WOACB subreddit, Katie Joy publicly and embarrassingly celebrated what she framed as her triumph over the community that critiqued her. This self-congratulatory behavior raises profound questions regarding her understanding of accountability. Well, she has none. Instead of engaging in introspection or acknowledging the negative impact of her actions, she chose to revel in her perceived victory. Such behavior is indicative of a broader issue within this culture where public figures often prioritize gain over the well-being of others. This has been Katie Joy's MO for quite some time. Now, Katie Joy's approach to dissent illustrates a refusal to engage with criticism constructively. Anything that she thinks makes her look bad, even though the things that she has said has already done that. Her inability to accept differing opinions not only reflects a lack of maturity, but also perpetuates a toxic environment that discourages healthy discourse. In essence, her actions exemplify the challenges that go along with online interactions, where the lines between personal and public personas often blur, leading again to that lack of accountability. I want to get into the resurrection of the subreddit. Despite the challenges posed by Katie Joy's actions, the community demonstrated remarkable resilience and resourcefulness. A new subreddit dedicated to discussing her behaviors emerged, focused on providing a platform for those impacted by her actions. This resurgence illustrates the community's determination to reclaim their voices and foster open dialogue, emphasizing the power of the collective action in the face of that adversity. The creation of this new forum, resurrected from what Katie Joy referred to as a dead forum, signifies not only the resilience of the community, but also a rejection of her heinous censorship. Members rallied together, reaffirming their commitment to discussing the issues surrounding Katie Joy while providing support for one another. This collective response showcases the strength of community solidarity in navigating the complexities of online discourse. Katie Joy will not accept dissent from former followers, people who will not lay down and tolerate her abuse, and people who refuse to be her subordinates. Katie Joy's attempts to silence dissenting opinions have proven largely ineffective, but it raises concerns once again of her dangerous desire to control the thoughts and voices of other people. The emergence of these alternative forums and subreddits illustrates that no amount of manipulation can stifle the voices of those who wish to speak out against her. It would be well within their right to do so. This emphasizes the importance of community engagement and the role of digital spaces in fostering dialogue around contentious issues, especially with extremely problematic content creators. Moreover, the rise of these alternative narratives serves as a reminder that digital landscape is quite dynamic and resistant to control. When individuals feel their voices are stifled, they often seek out new avenues for expression, which can lead to the formation of more inclusive and supportive communities. At least, that's how I see it. In this way, Katie Joy's actions inadvertently fueled a movement that highlighted the value of open discourse and accountability. Well, Katie Joy might have done something right in this circumstance. Katie Joy's public persona has been characterized by all of us as a series of manipulative and dishonest behaviors. Reports of her engaging in threats, allegedly, and harassment against individuals who challenge her have raised alarm among all of us. These actions not only demonstrate her disgusting pattern of behavior, but also contribute to a toxic online culture that have had and will continue to have far reaching consequences, something Katie Joy refuses to acknowledge. The ramifications of her dishonesty um, beyond individual interactions. By promoting this narrative that prioritizes her interests over the truth, Katie Joy undermines the very principles of transparency and integrity that are critical in any community and its discourse. This behavior not only harms those directly affected, but also perpetuates a culture of distrust that can alienate potential allies and supporters. Despite her claims of empathy for those who have faced horrible social injustice, Katie Joy's actions often contradict her own assertions. Her derogatory remarks towards Black creators of color, and her perpetuation of harmful stereotypes reveal a fundamental disconnect between her stated values and her behavior. This hypocrisy of hers highlights the necessity of genuine empathy in discussions surrounding social justice, as well as critical importance of holding individuals accountable for their actions. Furthermore, Katie Joy's behavior reflects broader societal issues related to race and privilege. She's just one of many embroiled in this. By undermining marginalized voices and perpetuating stereotypes, she not only harms individuals but contributes to a culture that devalues the experience of those who are often silenced and marginalized. She doesn't see people as equal, and she doesn't fight for inequity at all. Fight against inequity. This raises, again, questions about the responsibilities of public figures in promoting equity and justice within their platforms. People don't have to do it. But where Katie Joy introduces these elements in her video, you would think it's incumbent upon her to follow through authentically. At best, she is performative, but more alarmingly, she is dangerous and ends up hurting people and could possibly get people unalived. Katie Joy's apparent lack of self awareness is a concerning aspect of her online presence as well. Her inability to recognize the broader implications of her actions suggests a profound disconnect from the realities faced by those she personally critiques. This absence of reflection is detrimental not only to her personal growth, but also to the community that she affects. The significance of self awareness in fostering healthy interactions cannot be overstated. Individuals who lack self awareness often struggle to engage with differing perspectives, leading to an echo chamber that stifles growth and understanding. There are some people who have this because of emotional challenges that is understandable, and most people try to work on that through consistent therapy. Now, again, in contrast, those who actively seek to reflect on their actions and their impact on others tend to be better equipped to foster inclusive and constructive dialogues. Many observers have noted, including myself, that Katie Joy's self-absorption may be pathological, raising more questions about the status of her mental health and the impact of her online presence on her well-being. I mean, it can't help that she would be on TikTok for hours on end, and not having access to that for a few days must have been really hard on her mental health because her whole life depends on her online existence. Intensive therapy could potentially provide her with the tools needed to develop greater self awareness. The potential for growth through self reflection and therapeutic intervention is significant. Many individuals who struggle with self absorption may benefit from exploring the underlying causes of their behavior and learning to navigate with greater empathy and understanding. Now, it's very difficult for a lot of people to afford mental health care. It goes on the wayside. It's still considered a separate part of the whole healthcare scheme, which is devastating to say the least. And a lot of people are on waiting lists for a long time to get that mental health. Katie Joy sits on a level of privilege that she can have that at any time, that she could put money into that if she wanted to, instead of squandering it on settlements and possibly lost lawsuits and fighting against people online. So her priorities, in my opinion, are whack, but it's not up to me to decide whether Katie Joy needs mental health intervention or not. Now I'm going to switch to reflections on my own personal experience. Now, engaging in discussions about people like Katie Joy, of course, can be emotionally taxing. I've had this conversation with you. As I navigate my feelings regarding her actions and their implications, I find it essential to maintain a healthy perspective, and I do not allow Katie Joy to rent space in my head. The negativity that often accompanies such discourse can be overwhelming, making it imperative to prioritize self care and mental well being that also relies on self awareness. Recognizing the emotional toll that online interactions can take is crucial in navigating the digital landscape. By implementing strategies for self care, such as setting boundaries around engagement and seeking support from professionals or like minded individuals, I suppose that this will be one way to navigate the complexities of online discourse without compromising our emotional well being. Now, I want to kind of circle back to the concept of privilege. The discourse surrounding privilege is vital in understanding the dynamics of power and representation in online spaces. Katie Joy's actions exemplify how privilege can be wielded to manipulate narratives and silence dissent. By examining her behavior very finely through the lens of privilege, we can better comprehend the systemic issues that underpin these controversies. That's why I have to call it out, because I rest on a level of privilege. You wouldn't think I'm privileged, but in many respects I am, and I recognize that, and it's imperative of me to call it out. Privilege, whether based on race, class, or social status, plays a significant role in shaping our life experiences and interactions, whether online or offline. Recognizing one's privilege is an essential step toward fostering empathy and understanding, as it allows individuals to appreciate the struggles faced by marginalized communities. In this way, discussions about privilege can serve as a catalyst for greater awareness and social justice. This is not something that is on Katie Joy's agenda. Now, I'd like to get a little bit political here, especially with the case of Tina Peters. I think this is really important in the discussion of privilege and equity. You guys can leave now if you don't want to listen to this. I'm not here to talk about this year's election, who I'm voting for, how I think about a certain candidate, nothing like that. There's no place for that in this discussion. But this part is important. So you can leave now or continue to listen. The recent sentencing of Tina Peterson for her actions surrounding election integrity serves as a poignant example of the abuse of power and privilege within the political landscape. Peter's case raises critical questions about the integrity of our democratic systems and highlights disparity in legal representation. Individuals with resources often receive leniency, second, third, fourth, fifth chances, and the opportunity to defend themselves with the full complement of lawyers, accessible transportation, and always the benefit of the doubt, while marginalized communities often face harsher consequences, sometimes for lesser offenses. This disparity in treatment within the justice system not only undermines public trust, but also raises concerns about the overall health of our democracy. The consequences of such inequities can be far reaching, impacting communities that are already vulnerable and targeted. Addressing these systemic issues is essential for promoting a more equitable and just society, in my humble opinion. Now, the judge's remarks during Peter's sentencing underscored the importance of addressing inequities within the legal system. He emphasized that individuals from privileged backgrounds, well, roundabout in reference to Tina Peters anyway, should not receive preferential treatment and that the justice system must balance its scales. This perspective serves as a reminder of the ongoing struggles for equity and justice in our society. Judicial statements like this highlight these inequities that that serve as powerful calls to action. By drawing attention to the disparities faced by targeted communities, judges and legal professionals can play a critical role in advocating for reform and fostering a more equitable system with other community leaders and so on. It is vital for society to engage with these conversations and work towards systemic change. The legal system is so intricate, there's so many working parts that while one person may be denied something or they have to meet their obligations, does not automatically mean in Katie Joy's case that she has won anything. Oftentimes, Katie Joy has declared victory when no victory was had. Any sense of relief, postponement, or delay which costs other people time, mental anguish, and suffering is a win for Katie Joy in her mind, in her eyes. Unfortunately, nobody wins out of these situations. Katie Joy will have to face the ultimate penalty for whatever it is that she has done. And when I say ultimate, I mean for that respective issue. So if she is sued and has to pay, she doesn't win. Neither does her son, neither does her family, and she puts her family in jeopardy every single day when she opens her mouth. It's not to say you can't have dissenting opinions. You don't have to be a social justice person. You don't have to speak up for these things if you don't want to on your platform. But Katie Joy throws in these bones to keep people somewhat interested so that she can take a position that she thinks is more favorable. She doesn't care about these issues at all, and she will use them to further her platform and relevance in the community. I believe, in my opinion, that Katie Joy has taken people's own words, their work, their experiences, things they've said in line, incorporated it as her own, and mirrored those to reflect a certain type of personality she wants to reflect. I can see through it. Many of you have seen through it. As someone like myself who is grappling with emotional dysregulation and a personality disorder. I can see right through Katie Joy's nonsense. I'm not to say that I am right or wrong, but I do understand where this stuff is coming from. It's not acceptable or anything like that. And of course, I'm not claiming I'm clairvoyant, that I know anything that's going to happen in the future or what she's plotting, but everything that she has done, she has stolen from other people. She has taken it over and has claimed it as her own, and she will keep doing that until every last critic is silenced online who can never speak out against her. That's why it is so imperative to continue to speak out against her and her behavior as that comes up. And those of you who are going through any real personal stuff related to Katie Joy, you have my empathy, because I can't imagine what you're going through and what you have to deal with. And at the end of the day, you're the one who's paying for it, not her. I do believe that she will have her comeuppance. It's going to happen sooner or later, but unfortunately, it cannot happen in our timeline that we want it to happen, because the work of the legal system is very slow and arduous. Any change made is so slow. It takes such a long time. And that's just my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to close this video. I thank you for listening and for your patience while I discuss very difficult topics. I hope you'll come back soon. Take care. Bye-bye.